we are engaged in yet another we have successfully negotiated with Iran cycle right now, just your typical weekend bullshit. We've heard this one before. This time, unlike previous times, they're not even pretending to, like, involve Iran in the process. Like, before, Iran had sort of somewhat engaged with the negotiated settlement that was brokered by Pakistan, parentheses, actually America. But this time, to my understanding, the Iranian government isn't corresponding at all. Like, they haven't confirmed anything, so we can assume that this is just fake, as always. My understanding, actually, is that... Oh, how lovely. Right down there. Thank you. My understanding is that, actually, we're looking to bomb Iran again. That we're preparing to do it right now. 2 hours ago from the Hormuz letter, breaking per Channel 12, Trump has unexpectedly summoned J.D. Vance, Joint Chiefs Chair Kane, Hegseth, and the whole National Security Council to the White House Situation Room for Iran, with the meeting starting now. Now, my understanding, and you'll forgive me for my naivete, ignorance, stupidity, and low IQ, is that you don't typically summon all of our military leadership to the Situation Room when you're about to broker a deal. You know? Like, that's my general understanding of diplomacy, is that usually it's negotiated without the Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting in the Situation Room. Could be wrong on that. One more bombing run as a tweet? Yeah, we'll see. What if that's the art of the deal? Just draw on them? He did truth about it? About what? The Situation Room meeting, or the fact that we're about to get a deal? Netanyahu highly concerned and worried Trump will make a deal with Iran. He urged U.S. to launch another round of strikes. Of course, obviously. Okay, so what is the statement from Trump? I'm in the Oval Office of the White House, where we just had a very good call with President Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the United Arab Emirates, Emir Tamim bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim bin Jabir Al Thani. I'm starting to, when we anglicized a bunch of foreign names at Ellis Island, maybe we were onto something. A bunch of other people. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, this is a whole bunch of names. I don't think Iran is listed here. Of Qatar, of Pakistan, of Turkey, of Egypt, of Jordan, and of Bahrain. Okay, so Iran is not present here. It really, truly is a meeting between all the leadership involved, except Iran. Understood. Gotcha. An agreement has been largely negotiated, subject to finalization between the U.S. and Iran. Are we really doing this? We're not even... Does Iran know about this? Do they even know? We're not even pretending that they're involved in these talks? Another way of putting this is, we have decided that we would like it if Iran gave up. Like, they're not even... Okay, sure. We're probably about to begin bombing them again. Jesus, man. They've agreed to agree about Iran. They've agreed that they would like it if Iran let them have the strait again. The Israeli regime change plan was dumber than you think. Early war goal was to install hardline former president as Iran's leader. What? Designed to free Mahmoud Ahmadinejad from house arrest in Tehran? Why would... Oh, it makes sense. It's the Hamas strategy with Netanyahu. You get a hardliner in charge so you can justify perma-war. Israel doesn't want an end to the war. They just want to permanently kill and expand. There's no end to it. They accidentally killed him. Survive the strike. Sure. I'm sorry. This is just profoundly... Okay. So we're going to bomb them again, right? Like, that's what this is leading to? Probably. Just as planned. Why would he truth out a hit list for Israel? Nice meme. Iran has submitted a counter-proposal, and Trump says it's 50-50 deal or no deal. Trump expected to reply by Sunday. Okay. And what is the Iranian... Let me guess. The Iranian offer hasn't changed at all since, like, 2 months ago? He said odds were a solid 50-50 on whether he would be able to make a deal or blow them to kingdom come. Closest we have to an Iranian response. He's begging for them to compromise. There's literally no reason for Iran to stop, because Iranian leadership, I'm assuming they're aware of this, they have the ability to essentially end industrial civilization in the West right now. China has larger stockpiles of petroleum reserves and is engaged in limited trade with Iran. China could leverage this to, this is the potentially the greatest blow ever inflicted on the United States. It's self-inflicted, but still, why would they stop? Not like we would anyway. International benchmark Brent crude hovering at around $107 per barrel early Thursday. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Warframe sends their regards. Jesus. This deal will include, importantly, no nuclear weapons for Iran, Trump said. That's one way to stop global warming, ending modern civilization as we know it. Yeah, it seems so. I don't know. It seems I really don't know what like set of circumstances would stop. The only thing that I could really think of would be like a negotiated settlement between Iran and EU states, but even then, I just don't see what the incentive is for Iran to let the pressure up. I don't know why. Iran's foreign minister says yeah, but no. It's just nothing talk. It's nothing. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. But we're still running through the cycle. Prices go down. Blah blah. We've seen this happen before. Man, Iran rebuilding military industrial base faster than expected. Well, yeah, they unlike us, they haven't outsourced all their manufacturing. I think this is an update. Trump says this. Trump says that. Remarks by U.S. President potentially mark conclusion of bombing campaign led by U.S. and Israel. Based on what? What has Iran said to confirm this? Trump announced on Saturday that a peace deal with Iran had largely been reached after calls with Gulf allies in Israel. Well, again, it's the audacity of it that really gets to me, and the fact that journalism perpetuates this. How exactly do calls with Israel and our Gulf allies lead to a peace deal with Iran? Like, a normal headline would be peace deal with Iran finalized after talks with Iran. What is the relationship between talking with Netanyahu and resolving things with Iran? What is the connection here? It's maddening. It's made up, of course, but they're like pretending that this is how you do it. Trump talked with himself, might as well say. They're trying to end the war so they can invade Cuba in the victory lap. Well, they're going to invade Cuba anyway, of course. I'd hope not. Yeah, I'd hope not too, but they're probably going to do it. The Iranian proposal included permanently ending the war before negotiating any deal on Tehran's nuclear program. Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening. There's no like exit strategy here at all. We've fully drank the Kool-Aid. We believe our own hype. The people in charge of this country have forgotten that resources like petroleum cannot be, the shortages of said resources cannot be negotiated out through clever financial trickery. Well, should be fun, I guess. So we're probably about to start bombing Iran again, I suppose. As Netanyahu wants. Can the USA even invade Cuba successfully? If anyone could fuck it up, I'm sure it would be our current leadership. That being said, yeah, Cuba's like destitute. They don't even have power. But who knows, man? Who knows? There's also a great deal of like asymmetry in the perceived value of targets over there versus over here. That is to say, we could do a bombing run over Havana and do lots of damage, right? Kill a lot of people. But then they fly one drone into a tower in Miami and all of a sudden it's 9/11 too. You know, there's a great deal of asymmetry in the perceived value of targets there over here. You could bomb all of Cuba and like do $5 of damage. It's a very poor island. All those classic cars though. And the people. Sorry, my Americanism was seeping out for a moment. Wait, I live in Miami. Should I be worried? A little, yeah. Like I wouldn't say 0%. It may, like, if Cuba was targeted, the thing that would make sense from them would be retaliatory drone strikes in southern Florida. You know, they can only bring them out so far, but Miami's a big city, so you know they're probably not going to go after your house, right? Guess I'll die. You probably won't die. Do you think a few years under American occupation might utterly revitalize Cuban socialism? I mean, Cuban socialism is still like socially protected on the island. It's just that through mismanagement from their leadership, the embargo, and a bunch of other external pressures, nothing has really been able to fruit there for a while. But it's worth remembering that at least in the early years of Cuban socialism, they were able to do a pretty good job of turning the island around after Batista's reign. Of course, it didn't last, but you know, Yahoo about to have a conniption. What is this? Netanyahu reportedly beside himself after a furious phone call with Trump over Iran that left Israeli leader with his hair on fire per daily. What is this slot? What? Source? Well, the Daily Mail allegedly. Who cares? Who cares? Would you say the Cuban government's mismanagement is caused by the U.S. blockade? No, the Cuban government is legitimately, in many respects, incompetent, but it's beyond our moral purview to criticize it, you know? Again, you choke a person for 50 years, then criticize them for how they breathe. It's senseless. We are responsible for Cuba being the way that it is. If we had just treated them like a normal partner, they wouldn't be in this position. It's our fault. We, leveraged our enormous power and regional influence. Keep in mind that, like, initially, Fidel Castro was interested in having positive relations with the United States. He wasn't initially like a strong Soviet ally. He knew that he was right off the damn coast. He was interested in more of a playing both sides kind of thing. Not maliciously, but like in a neutral way. We're right next to the US, so we're not going to like be aggressive against them or whatever. But also, the Soviet Union, we have some like shared ideological goals. It was the US government that decided to turn them into a pariah, much as we did with China, by the way. Remember, China and the United States were on good terms for decades since the Sino-Soviet split. Nixon secured that. We were on decent terms with China. But after the Cold War, we needed some big, scary foreign enemy to justify our continued military expansionism. And what were we going to get for that? Fucking Iran or whatever. We missed having a superpower enemy. So we decided China would be it. And we just started treating them like an enemy. They were bewildered over there. I mean, at the time, China was socially and economically liberalizing as well. So it's like they were doing the thing we said that they should have done anyway. And then we just started acting like because they had rapidly industrialized, they were an enemy of ours, even as we made trade deals favorable to the externalization of our industrial forces into their country. It makes no sense. We just wanted an enemy. Totally senseless. We just make conflict. Why don't we just keep acting like Russia was the enemy after the Cold War? Mostly, I think, because they were gutted. I think that I think that immediately acknowledging Russia as our continued enemy after the Cold War also would have undercut the sense of triumph that we felt after the end of the Cold War. Like if we act like they're still the enemy, we haven't really pacified them the way the narrative sort of described, right? Unfinished business. Kind of like the inverse of Tito's Yugoslavia. No, I don't want to speak beyond the limits of my knowledge here, but Tito was always kind of a bit of a card, we'll say. But Fidel Castro engaged with the United States in good and open faith for a few years after Batista's reign. And he did so even though Batista was a fascist tyrant backed by the United States. Like, he violently ousted a dictator we backed, supported, and empowered, and still afterwards was willing to engage with us in good faith. Kind of mean of us, But we need our enemies.
What have you said to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strike?
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's a very, very good man.
Uh-oh. Lindsey Graham's going to have another talking to with him.
Do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister.
What?
Just yapping? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what, he's mad he's not taking the front seat? As much as I would love to gloat that Netanyahu is upset and doesn't feel as powerful as he used to feel, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, Trump wavers constantly. One day he'll be like, oh, I don't care about Israel, I do what I want. The next day he does literally whatever Israel wants him to. It doesn't really matter. Trump is legitimately mentally unwell. There's no consistency or pattern to his behavior. It's just like the last person to get at him. Unfortunate stuff. Soup brain? Yeah.